poppin' YouTube family? It's your boy Dwight. Welcome back to the channel. Silverback Siage. Hope all is well with everybody. First off, do me a huge favor. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I post new content. Well, today's video, with the dog days of summer seeming like they're getting ready to come to an end, I'd like to give my 2 cents on some of the fragrances I'll be reaching for first when the fall months hit. And maybe some of your dress as far as how you leave the house or things that you might attend may change. Some of those fragrances that go right along with it, I'm going to be going over them today. Keep it locked. Well, without further ado, let's get off into this list. Now, this first one, I would have to say on this channel, kind of had a little bit of a rough start, maybe a love-hate relationship, if you will. And that's only because I really didn't understand when to wear this fragrance, how to wear it. But I've got a chance to spend a little time with it now, so I'm going to talk about it. First one being 1 Million's Lucky. 1 Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne. Now with this one, what you get, juicy plum up top, a little bit of bergamot, faint sense of that grapefruit. But one thing that's actually in the mid notes that you get right off rip is that hazelnut honey combo. Now, when it comes to those two notes, those are notes that I really hadn't had a chance to really put my nose on and spend a lot of time with. But I will say this one here, when you begin to come out of the regular white t-shirts or just your kick around sporting apparel and things of that magnitude, this one can shine on maybe a short sleeve polo shirt to a long sleeve polo shirt. But when you dress yourself up, it definitely provides a different scent profile that everybody or every fragrance is not going to offer. Next one. Now this one here, extremely popular in the fragrance community, and probably the most grown and sexy version of Acqua di Gio within that family due to them having a plethora of flankers. But this is the one to me that dresses up the best. And that's Acqua di Gio Profumo. Now with this one, the addition of incense is what sets it apart from it being just 100% ozonic and aquatic. The C note part in the opening you get a little bit, and I would have to say some people actually don't necessarily like the opening but love the dry down in this fragrance. But to me, when you get suited and booted or you actually have something important to do and you in the mood or have a yearning for the Acqua di Gio family, this would be the one that's the most grown and sexy of all of them. Next one, I'm going to travel off into the house of Prada with Prada Luna Rossa Black. Now with this one, it's kind of keeps that whole powdery nuance that Prada's known for at the forefront. But I will say, as this one begins to dry down, you get that tonka bean, but they call it Corman. I think it still kind of gives a tonka bean type of vibe. And the amber and the musk and that base, to me, those are the standout points of this fragrance that makes it, once again, a grown and sexy type of theme. But when you actually dress yourself up nice from the start of maybe a short sleeve polo, when it's still somewhat warm going into fall, versus when it actually chills down to where you need sleeves, or even if you're putting on a suit to go to the office, this one will blend into all of those things. But I will say it definitely has some powdery nuances to it and some strength, so you don't want to overspray this one. Next one would be one that used to be considered a cheapie. To me, gives you the blast of vanilla for the cooler months. But it's one that you wouldn't expect due to the brand that it comes from. And that's Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Now, what you get with this one, to me, it's one of the best smelling vanilla fragrances that I've smelled thus far, especially in the less than $100 range, but it's actually getting to that point, that price point, due to it getting to be kind of scarce on being able to find it. But what you get with this one is vanilla nuances mixed with incense, mixed with benzoin, and the icing on the cake for this one, there's ambroxan in it. So it's one of those vanilla scents that doesn't just smell good for an hour or two or pop off your skin and your clothes for an hour or two. That ambroxan gives it some staying power. So you actually get that fresh scent with that bergamot in the opening, but when it begins to dry down, it gets very, very warm with that amber, and the vanilla begins to pop, just makes you have a very, very unique scent bubble. Now, it's not one that reaches out and get people 2-3 feet, but within your scent bubble, it's a very, very special fragrance. Next one. Valentino Uomo Intense. Now with this one, is one that I got fairly early in my fragrance journey. To me, within this fragrance, the note that actually reigns supreme is the iris. So you get your opening with the clary sage and mandarin orange, but that iris is prevalent throughout the entirety of the fragrance, being on your skin and in your clothes. And it's a very, very grown up, sophisticated scent profile, to where it's versatile in the sense that you could dress it down to maybe down to a polo. To me, it's not a great t-shirt fragrance, but once you get up to a polo on up to a tuxedo, it's a very, very grown, I mean business type of scent profile that people will recognize and maybe mistake for either Valentino Uomo Intense or Gentleman within the Gentleman line of Givenchy, or even up to the Dior Homme Intense. They all are kind of similar, but they all have their own unique nuances to not allow them to smell exactly the same, but they all share that common denominator of iris. Next one. Now this one here is one that's often compared to Creed's Aventus. To me, you only get that brief resemblance of that in the opening, be it that pineapple's in there, and you got strong bergamot that might give some people that apple vibe. But to me, this one's dry down makes it stray away from Aventus in its own direction, or the Creed Aventus go in its own direction because of such woodiness in the dry down. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Nishane's Hasivat. While lots of people actually will label this one a summertime fragrance, I would have to not say not so much, because to me, within that dry down being so woody, it's a little too woody to be considered a summer fragrance. You can use it year round, but to me, as the temperatures begin to cool down, the staying power within Hasivat will actually come to the forefront. Now this next one could potentially be, it's definitely the most unisex of all of them within this video, but along with that nuance that it has, it could be the most unique or different smelling. When you spray yourself with this one, from actually long sleeve button ups and the fact that it has a hint of oud that, I mean, really doesn't impact the fragrance that much, it's one that you can spray this one on and set yourself apart within a room. And that's Bond Number 9 Sag Harbor. While even on the website, they got that one in like a summer collection of fragrances, which you can rock it in the summer. But to me, it's what I call a transitional fragrance. You can rock it in the summer when it's hot, warm outside, and be unique and different. But you can turn around and dress it up and put you on a tie, bow tie, whatever the case may be, in a vest set, and spray that same fragrance on, and no other man in the room is going to smell like that one. So that's one thing that I like about it that makes it super duper unique as far as I'm concerned. The next one, and a little bit of a spoiler alert for this one. This one here will allow you to know that it can be suited and booty, because it actually comes with a bow tie wrapped around the neck of the fragrance. And the next one that I'm talking about is in the same house, Bond Number 9, Centerpiece for Him. Another one, often compared to Creed Aventus. Now, as far as I'm concerned, to me, this one here is nowhere near as smoky as Creed Aventus. Pretty much any fragrance that you put some pineapple in, you're going to get some questions of, well, is it a Creed Aventus clone, or is it a dupe, or is it a inspired by fragrance. To me, this fragrance definitely goes in its own direction, but dresses up really, really nice. I've even wore this fragrance to a job interview before, and it was a hit within that interview, to say the least. But it's definitely a grown man scent profile that when you are going somewhere where it's important that you dress to the nines, look really, really nice, you can smell good, but a lot of people kind of throw stones at the Bond No. 9 fragrance house, so you can definitely be unique in the fact that you won't smell like them if they don't fool with Bond. And last but not least, a fragrance that most people definitely throw in their summer list. Now, this one here to me is so versatile. You can wear it in the spring, the summer, fall, and winter. But for me, I only whip this fragrance out due to price point, due to how I feel when I put this fragrance on, and due to me, when you dress this thing up and actually go somewhere important and you put this on, the confidence that you leave the house in spills over to wherever it is that you're going when you wear this one. And to say the least, it's my favorite fragrance still in my fragrance collection thus far. And that's Creed Aventus. Favorite fragrance in my favorite fragrance in my collection as of right now. I know I'm fairly new at this thing that we call fragrance, but I'd have to say, and since I haven't smelled it for a while, let me crack that thing open. Woo. Number one. What you get out of this one, you get pineapple, you get bergamot, you get blackcurrant, but as it begins to dry down, you get that birch wood, you get musk, oak moss, and ambergris. And I mean, it's one of the most iconic fragrances in fragrance history. I mean, the numbers don't lie when it comes to that one. Since it hit the market in 2010, people have went crazy over it, tried to clone it as much as they can or get inspired by fragrance. I mean, it's definitely earned the amount of talk and respect that it gets in the fragrance community. But what I like about it, it changes. You get the fruity opening, which, I mean, some people talk batch variations, but the batch that I get plenty of pineapple and apple and bergamot stuff in that opening. But as that blackcurrant continues to stay, as those fruits begin to fade, the birch and the woody dry down with a small hint of that vanilla, to me, makes it ultra unique. And no other fragrance that's tried to copy this one, inspired by this one, has ever got it down to higher than maybe a 90 percentile of getting just like this one, but nobody's nailed it at 100%, which once again makes it unique and puts it at the top of my fall list of ones that I'll be reaching for this year in 2022. But other than that, that's my time. Peace.